Let's let her cook. Okay, so here's one called just do this when she ghosts you. Okay, what's the advice? Okay, can't relate. Let's see.
It's that time of the year again. Ghosting season. It's time to ditch the pity party and face reality like a man. If a girl ghosts you, it's her loss, not yours. Here, 5.
That is such cope. Realistically, that's only the case if you are better off than her and she just doesn't see it. Odds are a girl's smart enough to know whether or not you're worth pursuing or anything like that. So she's missing out. That's something your mom would tell you, by the way. Oh, this girl stood you up. Oh no, that's her fault. My little boy. No, I love you. That is cope mom energy. No, 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 no. Now, again, sometimes that could be true. Like if you are literally Steve Jobs in high school, yeah, she is missing out. If you're Bill Gates, yeah, she is missing out. But odds are that she's not. Odds are you're going to work at a cubicle. Odds are you're going to work at a Home Depot. She's not missing out on squat. She knows exactly what she's doing, probably.
5 harsh truths you need to hear. Number 1, no chasing and no begging. Don't be that guy who keeps texting and calling, longing for her attention. If she's not interested, move on. Your time and dignity are way more important. Number 2, rejection is...
Okay, that's fair enough. Also, here's the thing. I haven't tried this, but like if you're calling a girl over and over again, wouldn't she just block you? So at some point she must kind of like you, or at least like that you're calling, right? So that's kind of interesting.
Redirection. Look at rejection as redirection towards something better. There are billions of women out there. One person's rejection shouldn't shatter your confidence. 3, cut the nice guy act. I've said this a million times, but being nice will not win her over. Be bold, assertive, and unapologetically yourself. 4, don't seek closure. Closure is for simps. You don't need her to explain herself. Accept it and move forward. And lastly, understand your worth. Do you respect and appreciate yourself? If the answer is no, there might be some reasons that you're getting ghosted and you might need to work on those.
Okay, fair enough, but that beginning was definitely mom energy, so I had to explain that.
So I realized something about men the other day. You guys never get compliments from women, and it's a byproduct of how the dating world has evolved. Whether it's catcalling, getting approached, DMs on Instagram, or messages on dating apps, the number of compliments women are receiving every day has pretty much made us immune to them. Like, yeah, it feels good, but we'll forget about them pretty quickly. You guys are not like that. I have male friends who still remember nice things that random girls told them like 3 years ago. One of them wears the same shirt on every first date because he got complimented on it once.
That is so fucking pathetic. Oh my god.
Still pinpoint precise compliments I've given him over our 2 years of dating. That's so crazy to me. So ladies, please start complimenting the men in your life. I don't think you realize exactly what it's going to mean for them. And if they happen to be one of my followers, be sure to compliment them.
No, this is such a pick me alert, fan service. Oh my goodness. Jesus Christ, man. That is off-putting for sure. Oh Lord, she is right about the lack of compliments. You know, from men, I assume when do I hear other men get compliments from girls randomly? It never happens. So that is completely legit. But for her to be like, compliment my fans, please. No. This one's gonna be really good. Watch.
The typical narrative around this is that it's particularly impactful for women because it interferes with their ability to pair bond. Look, I think body count matters more for women simply because we're the ones that control access to sex. But I'm not ready to.
That's not true at all. It's not because they control sex. I mean, yeah, in a autistic sort of capitalist, yes, like of course, supply and demand, yes. But women, even if a lot of guys having sex and all men had their sexual needs met, the women would still be more affected psychologically with putting out. And so it does have to do with what she just said, but it's also, even divorced from that, still a bigger deal for the women regardless, okay? So even if you had a society full of, Chris Hemsworths or whatever who have enough pussy to go around, that still doesn't change the fact that the woman would still be more psychologically impacted upon sex. Still, right? Like if you were to compare celebrities who are all rich, who have an abundance, okay, even still, the girl's more affected by sleeping around than the guys are in Hollywood, obviously.
To say it doesn't impact a man's pair bonding ability as well. I'm no endocrinologist, but here's my
Okay, that's like white people shit. I'm like, no endocrinologist? Bro, what? Who cares?
simple logic.
None of us, if you're an endocrinologist, you're not on YouTube Shorts.
Oxytocin is the bonding hormone that we all share. It's a huge part of our reward system, and it's secreted in massive amounts during sex.
You know for a fact she didn't come up with this herself, for one. Secondly, that is such a bullshit sort of talking point that she got from somebody else, God knows who. But, oh, oxytocin is a thing. No, you don't need a I hate when people have to rationalize common sense with science as if like we're in a destiny debate or something. It's not like that at all. Realistically speaking, just at the dinner table, whatever, in a normal day-to-day conversation, you don't have to use oxytocin, endocrinologist. That doesn't have to come out of your mouth. You can just say for a fact, so-and-so and so-and-so. That really irks me.
Well, if you produce a bonding hormone in large quantities time and time again, but it never results in an actual bond, your body's reward system is going to get extremely screwed up, whether you're male or female. We all hear about dopamine detoxes all the time to help people reset their brains and rediscover positive habits. But we never think about the other hormones involved in that reward system and how they all coordinate. If your dopamine system could get screwed up, I imagine your oxytocin system can as well. So as much of some of this body count talk is true in targeting women, I don't think we can completely dismiss its effects on men. And if you're an expert on this stuff, I'd absolutely love to hear from you in the
That is okay. First of all, again, baiting more engagement for a YouTube channel to blow up more. Okay, I see. I respect the grift. Anyway, besides that, beyond what I just said, there's another point to be made, and it has to do with this. This whole correlation between, oxytocin, dopamine, or whatever. I mean, that's not a one-to-one comparison for starters. Secondly, she's just going off of what she gutturally feels. And then third would be ostensibly that she still hasn't concretely explained as to how, sleeping around as a guy is negative for you. I'll concede, yeah, it's bad, but it's nowhere near the same. In fact, if a guy were to sleep with up to, let's say, a couple dozen girls by the time he's 30, that would actually be a good thing in a secular sense. Of course, religiously, that's wrong. But just like in a frat bro sense, sleeping around gives you experience. I came up with training wheel pussy, that sort of term. We've got different sort of levels for this shit, right? That kind of helps. A girl sleeping around doesn't help at all. The only sort of person that would ever concur with my logic, but for women, would be a Sex in the City wine mom, auntie, 40-year-old, oh, go sleep around. I got married to your uncle when I was 20 and I didn't get to experience the world. You should fuck all the men in college. That is horrible advice for starters. But that's the sort of person that would agree with the whole women being even close to the same in remarks to pair bonding capacity being destroyed, okay? So basically what I'm saying is that a girl sleeping with one guy is equivalent to a guy sleeping with 20, in my opinion, right? If you ask a guy who has slept with 50 chicks or 400, they act about the same. If you ask a girl who slept with one guy or 5, that's a world of a difference, okay? So that's where you got to really distinguish everything going forward. And so to me, it's physically speaking, a guy having sex with a girl is if a quarterback throws a football. Is it a little bit tiring? Yes, but you could throw 60 balls in a game and you're fine. Whereas, this a girl sleeping around is running back, a touchdown. It's okay, well, how many touchdowns are you getting in a game before the running back is just out of the charts? It's maybe 3, 4. Okay, so a girl sleeps with more than 3 or 4. That's a quick degradation of her psyche. Of course, pair bonding capability. And for the case of men, again, you could throw for 400 yards, 60 passing plays, and you'd be just fine. And so that's the difference.
Guys, approaching women isn't hard. You guys feel like you have to blow us away, sweep us off our feet, make us fall in love right there. But that's not how this works. This is the first time you're talking to us, and you're doing it completely randomly. No girl's looking at you thinking, oh, this is going to go well. Most interactions with guys before you have been pretty awkward. So you know what's going to make you stand out? Just being normal. That's it. Guys, you're right. It is weird sometimes. Some guys will
Okay, first of all, that is somewhat cope, right? So on one hand, yes, she is completely correct about how obviously if you're going to a girl, most other guys that do it suck. Because if you watch other guys approach women, you watch them, you're like, bro, what the fuck? I could do this better. But second would also be oh, you have to be normal. No, you can be normal only if you're attractive enough, obviously, because you gotta low key blow her out of the water. And what I mean is, okay, let's say a girl, because this girl's super hot, not in this frame, but in the other videos, this girl's an 8 or a 9, extremely pretty. So somebody like me, where she's above my level, I would have to come up to her and be beyond normal unless I had a ton of money or she knew I had clout locally, I owned a bar or something. But, if I'm coming up in a college setting, we're both broke, okay? That makes one of us at least. Well, that wouldn't work out being normal. And again, you can be above average, but she's above me. And so a normal doesn't cut it. And so unless she's just expecting a complete Chad to go up to her every single time, you have to do better than normal. So for her to give that advice doesn't make sense. Normal isn't cutting it for most men because most men are unremarkable, obviously. And so if you're normal, 5'9", nothing going on, what the fuck is normal going to do? Normal only is going to cut it in high school. And again, this girl's what, 25? Why is she quoting stuff from 10 years ago? Yeah, on a 15-year-old girl, being normal and not stuttering when you go up to her is a lot, and that's pretty good for that age. But in college, when she's used to all this attention, the fact is that a 20-year-old is going to expect better than just normal, especially when you're not better looking than she is. If you're Tom Cruise and you're going for some like 5'2" little janitor lady, yeah, of course you don't, I mean, just normal's fine. But again, you have to calibrate what you're going for. If you're a 7 out of 10 guy and you're going for a 7 out of 10 girl, is normal even enough nowadays? Probably not, because there's shorter term commitments that she's able to get out of better looking guys, even if they don't commit to her, but she has the illusion of it. Well, then normal for you, a good looking guy, is still not going to cut it for a girl that looks just like you. In which case, then her advice, Billie Rae's that is not going to cut it.
Men.
Oh, this
I
is a
respect
doozy.
men.
Get ready.
I spend my entire life fighting for men, but I have to be honest. I'm sick and tired of hearing men complain about their height holding them back. Look, I'm sympathetic to less attractive people. I understand that some people aren't the universal type, but you
Leave it up to a girl who, I don't know how tall she is, but she looks okay, right? Like she could be maybe 5'3" at the shortest, probably like 5'6", like normal height for a girl. Okay. Well, I'm tired of people saying that they're short. I mean, what would you know?
and I have both seen plenty of objectively unattractive men who found their way into happy relationships. They figured out how to land a girl, so why are you complaining? See, it's not that I don't agree that dating might be a bit tougher for Jonah Hill than it is than Ryan Gosling, Henry Cavill, and Michael B. Jordan.
Jonah Hill isn't unattractive because he's short. I don't even know if he's short, honestly. It's that he's fat and he's ugly. Duh. What kind of example is that? You could have said Tom Cruise, but even Tom Cruise, who's like, 5'7", 5'8", the master race, so to speak, that sort of person is still really handsome. And so, again, her example sucked.
What annoys me is when the same men who complain that women never take accountability blame women for their lack of dating success. You're short. Does that mean you can't dress well? Build muscle? Groom yourself?
Cope. Dressing well, cope. Muscle, also cope. You need to be in the top like 10% of people at the gym for a girl to even notice that you work out a lot, okay? What are you gonna do? Oh, shorty, my shins are really big, my calves are really big. Who cares? Or, oh, I have muscles. But if you're wearing it, like, okay, it's literally November. You're gonna be wearing something like this. Oh, she's gonna tell I work out. How? What she's going to notice is a jawline ever before she sees a fucking six-pack, talking about how this is a big deal that you work out. Cope. And you see all these short guys in the gym. Where the fuck are their bitches at? They're coping, obviously. And you know what? It's a benign thing. Go ahead and work out. I'm not going to do it. I don't like it. But everybody else, go ahead. But to say, oh, you can groom yourself. No, not really. Plus, most short guys are going to be like the average person economically. To dress well would necessitate money for the most part. In which case, well, if you're getting all these brands, then you have to get rich first. So most short people can't do that. Or let's say that she even reduces the argument to like, oh, well, you go thrifting for clothes. And what, a girl's going to be honestly, and honest to God, I've never talked to a girl that has ever said, I was attracted to this guy, not because of this, but because he dresses well. If he dresses well, that's like the fifth thing she mentions. So surely, yes, having muscle would help out a little bit. But really, working out only helps exponentially to a guy's chances with women when he's obese, right? Like if he's obese and then under the fat, he has a jawline, he has good eyes, whatever. Okay, then that could work out. But the fact is that for the most, like if you're skinny fat or whatever, it doesn't fucking change much. So unless you're Arnold Schwarzenegger or otherwise like really built, it's not going to really contribute. So basically, if you're a guy who's skinny and wears like, let's say a size medium shirt and you work out like 5 times a week, but nobody notices it unless you take off your shirt. Well, you working out will hardly help at all. In fact, the tertiary benefits of working out like routine, regimen, and confidence and, self-assuredness, that would help you way more. The placebo effect, that is, would help out a lot more than the muscles you have. So yeah, working out is like 80% of cope. Now, again, if you're fat, then you have to lose the weight. But if not, then work out, but don't have an illusion, right? It's like studying when you're already smart or whatever.
Be funny, be ambitious. Those are incredibly attractive traits. You know what isn't? Complaining and quitting because things are a little tougher. Guys, I'm serious.
No guy. If you know guys nowadays, they're fucking dogs. They'd smash anything if they get their hands on it, right? How do you think fat chicks have sex? So it's not the problem of guys not wanting enough for the most part. If a guy quits the dating scene, it's because he's already tried, because he's already had like 3 different Tinders and they haven't worked. And, I obviously am not somebody who tries a lot, but people in my age and whatever are really desperate nowadays. And so to say like, oh, you're quitting, you're a loser. I mean, yeah, you are a loser, but you know it. Like to say, be ambitious, be this. Okay, shorty, that doesn't work for most people because for you to be ambitious and funny, to be notable to a girl that will compensate for the lack of height, you would have to be in the top, let's say 20% of those categories. Well, you can't tell 100% of short guys to act like 20% of people and then expect 100% of them to work out. And like, this is just straight up math. And I know this has never occurred to Billie Rae Brandt. I can be assured of that. Most people aren't smart enough to come up with the shit I do. But the fact is that again, well, be ambitious, be an elite. Well, you're giving that whole thing to other people. It's like if you had a whole college of students and they said, we have student loan debt. And then I said, get your GPA to the top 20% and then it'll pay for your school. Okay, first of all, that's a big ask. But secondly, that's only 20% of people that get out. Okay, if everybody had the same amount of ambition or whatever and they all followed Billie's advice, they'd be all equally in the same position at the same time, which is to say that it doesn't rectify anything in the long term for most people. It's not a utilitarian answer. And so, again, complaining about your height is stupid because it projects insecurity, but to be realistic about it is also something that is just honest, right? So for instance, if you're shorter than 5'6" and you give up, okay, I understand that because honestly, who is under 5'6" that gets any nowadays? Now, okay, oh, Danny DeVito, oh, well, an actor from 50, okay, maybe. But seriously, if you're not like Tom Cruise height, you're really not going to make it. Like at 5'8", you're treading water, folks. So let's not beleaguer the point any more than that.
I love all of you, but the complaining about something you have zero control over has to stop. If you followed me for a while, you know what you have to do to increase your value. Start doing it. I love men. I respect.
Okay. Easy for you to say, try harder. As somebody who's not involved at all, try harder. It's kind of like if I went to a girl and said, you know that little stomach fat over there? I don't know how you lose that weight in particular, but you could stand to lose 5 pounds. You know what a rude thing that is to say? Because obviously it's pretty difficult. She obviously knows that's an issue, but like for me to point it out is like so fucking rude, eh? So the reason why I cover Billie is because I had a video that went pretty well, like got over 1,000 views, I think. So this is why I'm doing it. But also, you know, she does get a lot of views, hundreds of thousands. Some of them get into the millions. You know, if you score by popularity, you've got millions of views. So it's important that I cover this sort of topic. And, you know, I think she's kind of a benign person, obviously. Like, if she's really just red pilling a bunch of, like, normal people on YouTube Shorts, then there's really nothing to complain about there. But, you know, if you're really saying, like, oh, this chick is the bee's knees, I mean, she's not. You know, she's a way better, you know, I guess arm candy than she is, like, actually orating or anything, which I can't really hold against her because, you know, if you can make money, then just make the money. But, okay, fair enough. You got your video. Adios.